Welcome back to Lights, Camera, Whatever. This is Teacher Ray here. We are back in business for episode 5 of the show, a very interesting show called Wave Maker, and it did make a lot of waves as far as virality. Now, let's jump into the description. It is on Netflix and in English. The description says, Ya-ching confides, I used to hate this word when I was little, in Wen-fang about a poignant history, and facing a shocking revelation, Lin Yue-chen has a difficult decision to make. You know, these political shows always have some type of hidden message. You never know what it is until you actually, see the show. But even that it's a political show, you have to be really cautious about it. And also what you share with other people. There's plenty of times where I've discussed political issues with other American people. I don't discuss too many American political issues with other nationalities. It's just no point. Unless they've spent a significant amount of time in the United States, then maybe there's room to discuss. But usually I would discuss internal political issues, when I say internal American, with American people. But there always comes with a degree of sensitivity and how far you want that, conversation to stretch. So political shows are always something that you need to be a little bit cautious about when discussing with other people, because you don't know the political parties that people, support, because it's a sensitive topic. Now, let's jump into that sensitive topic. And for number 1, it's called, Are Protests Effective Anymore? Wow. For me, I would say yes. Because people have something that they want to say. They have something that they want to share. They have something that they need to release. And unfortunately, until you push a certain government, I'm not going to say which government or which country, until you push a certain government to a certain extent to understand the pain that you are suffering, or on the opposite, the pain that you don't want to suffer in the coming days, sometimes a united collective protest is necessary. Now, if I would say, are they effective? I would say yes, if you do it properly. Now, if you are organized, and I'm not encouraging you to go out there and, riot in the streets. I think the last major protest in the States was the Israel-Hamas issue and the Palestinian crisis right now still going on. Before that, it was the Russian crisis. And then a couple years ago, there was a situation with a police officer and an African-American man. And I think everybody knows about the BLM, Black Lives Matter. These protests have been proven to be highly effective. Now, for the Israel-Hamas, that kind of doesn't go too far because the war is still going on. So when there's something that certain governments want to do, we don't name names, they're going to do it. But that doesn't mean you have to sit back and, just watch the show. So sometimes if you have the right motive and the right determination, and also those are two different things, don't get it confused, and also you have the right people with the right mindset, because sometimes what you're protesting for might be similar to another person, but that person might be what we call a radical. Be careful if you have a friend who is a radical. They're probably on the FBI's list. Taiwan doesn't have FBI, they have their own thing. They're probably on the blacklist somewhere for being extreme, or the other people would say extremist, right? There are terrorists in every single country. And if your friend is one of those, please don't get too close to them, because you probably are on some type of document with them. Now, if you're organizing a protest with a radical or extremist, I don't have much to say for you. I just have to say I pray for you, because that protest isn't going to last long. If you're going to do something of a protest or a movement, what they call it, I think the last movement in Taiwan was the Sunflower Movement. I think that was successful. A lot of people had came out to the streets to support that. And I think if you're going to do that, remember, do it democratically, right? Do it in a peaceful way. If you are protesting and people are getting hurt, it is not a protest. You are doing something else that is away from the original motive of a protest. If you live in a democratic country, if you're listening to this, I hope you do live in a democratic country, because if you don't, I don't know what you're doing. But if you do reside in a democratic country, then do it peacefully. Organize. The government, if you're in a democratic country, you probably more than likely have the right to organize. But I don't know. I don't really know how much the price is for that, though. Like, how much do you have to pay to block an entire street? And also, if you don't have the money, how do you accumulate the sponsorship to block? Because it's expensive, right? Especially when you're in a densely populated city like Taipei or Korea or Seoul or Tokyo. You have to take other, matters into hand, because if you're blocking a major street in a densely populated area, you're actually blocking a lot of potential traffic flow and commute. So always keep that in mind where you're protesting, right? Are you protesting near the river? Are you protesting on a major street? Are you protesting at a major event like a basketball game or a New Year's party? Be strategic, people. Protests are very, very effective if strategically planned. Now, when I say strategically, that means that you're doing it in a way that is not harming other people who have no connection to what is being protested about. And you can't force people to protest with you. If they don't want to protest with you, move on, wish everybody peace. But that's another thing that we have to discuss, is because you're forcing your opinions and ideologies on other people. That's not the way, guys. If you promote what you're doing in a very peaceful way on the free social platforms that we have right now, then people will join you if they want to join you. But you can't be angry at people for not joining you. Not everybody has the courage and the audacity to stand up for the same rights that you are fighting for. So, are protests effective anymore? I think they are, if done in the right manner. So that totally depends on you. What are you looking for when you're doing these protests? What is your result? So I think that's something that you have to discuss with the people you're protesting for. What do we want from this protest? How long are we protesting? What do we do if one of our protesting members gets hurt? And also, if we do, successfully spread the message, or one of my favorite words is permeate, just a beautiful word for spread. Write that down. You got a free word for today from my English class. Permeate. Then what do you do next, right? Because a lot of times it's been proven in history that people fight, and then, they win, but they don't know what to do next. They're just like, oh, we won. Oh, I didn't know we were going to win. So you have to do it in a way that you're going to win, but also you have to do it in a way, if you lose, what is the plan B? And this is another English word for you, your contingency plan. Write that down too. I see you writing. So you have permeate and contingency. There's no English class. This is podcast. So what you need to do is that you need to think, okay, if we get what we want, what do we want? Do we make it clear? Is there a new law? Now in Taiwan, they do have something called a gongmentopiao. In English, it's called a referendum. They have way more referendums here than I remember growing up in the United States, which is a good thing. Not complaining. This is a good thing. People don't like things. I think the last thing they voted for was like the age of voting or something like that. And I think they need to do another one about how old you can be to vote. But that's not going to happen. This is an aging population. So with aging populations like Japan and Taiwan, I don't think that's going to happen. But for the voting, as far as how early you can vote as far as age, that is something to consider. And there's a lot of topics that need to be raised in referendums, but protest itself is actually taking people out into the street with whatever design shirt, whatever logo banner you have, and you need to be strategic. Now, number 2, totally different topic, but like I said, guys, this is from the show. This is what they do. It says, if you sleep with your boss, can you blame them for wanting more? Now, at RBZ English, I do have a majority female clients. I did not go find them. They came to me, and it's nothing about how I look. I am professional in my job. Now, it's just in Taiwan, there's a larger percentage of women than men. Now, I always tell my female clients, be careful sleeping with your boss, because it could lead to a whole range, and another word for you, extensive range of issues that you can't get away from. And now it says, if you sleep with your boss, can you blame them for wanting more? You absolutely can blame them for wanting more, but you have to be very clear of your intention, right? If you sleep with them and they like you, don't blame them for wanting more. But if they want more and you don't want more, women out there listening, and men, right? You have the right to say stop. That moment has passed. So whatever is the next moment, this is real talk. If you've slept with them, it happened. But if you could have been in the wrong mindset. You could have been drunk. You could have been, in a mood. You could have been suffering from your current marriage. So that, the boss had nice words for you. You never know, right? Whatever happens. And please, if you want to tell me the details, put in the comments. But if that situation, right, once it's passed, it's past, right? So if they want more, you have to, you control your body, right? I mean, like there's nothing to discuss right now. If there's something forced, then that's a legal issue and they should go to jail, like some celebrities that we're talking about these days. So if they're doing that and they're forcing you to have sex and you don't want to have sex, then of course they should go to jail. But I can't say, can you blame them? Don't blame them for wanting more if you gave them a good time, right? That's just wrong. But you can stop them. Now, the situation after you stop them will be very weird because it's like, wait, like we just like last night or last week, what changed? We are humans. We have rights to change. And you make sure you remind that guy or that woman because for the guys out there, women sometimes are aggressive too. So whatever, I'm not going to take sides just for the women. There are powerful female bosses out there who, want what they want. And, they probably got a also very wealthy husband and, they never spend time together. But that's another topic. It's another conversation. But you have to let them know if, right, after the first time you don't want any more, you have to be clear. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you're in the office and you slept with your boss and you guys are looking at each other all the time, smiling and flirting, do not blame them. You have literally opened the window, right, for them to keep going and want to have more special fun with you, right? I think one interview I saw, one very cute little young man was like, "Oh, me and my girlfriend are gonna, have late night activities," and the way he said it was so accurate, but not accurate. But we know what it was. It was a very young guy. I was like, "Oh, he said it perfectly." Oh, late night activities. So if you're gonna have like some late night activities, don't blame the other person. So, like I said, for me, from my perspective, don't blame them, but you do have rights to stop them. But once you stop them, you need to know that you're dealing with a very uncomfortable situation. And not because you're dealing with an uncomfortable situation, don't stop them. Stop them because you don't want any more, and you need to be very clear. Now, number 3, what if your partner is not crazy in love with you like you are with them? Guys, when you're in a relationship and there's always going to be, and this is every culture, every language, and it's probably been like this for 1,000 years. There's always going to be one partner in a relationship that loves the other partner more. Always. Now, if you're the one who's not loving the person back, maybe you're not really a lover. And I'm not saying like lover as far as like secret lover. I mean, maybe you're not just a loving person. You could be more focused on your work. You could be more focused on other things like your kids. And that's a situation you have to discuss with your partner. But maybe your partner is all about loving and romancing you. It's a balance, guys. It has to be a balance. There's always going to be one person who loves more, who's taking more consideration of other people's schedule, who's doing all types of things to keep the relationship going. And the other person is just kind of like enjoying it, right? Living it and like, okay, he loves me anyway, whatever. Don't be like this. Now, if your partner is not crazy in love with you like you are with them, guys, just keep loving them until it gets to the point where you're like, wait, like you don't show me any love at all. It's like basically I have to suggest, this is real talk. If I have to always suggest a date, I have to always suggest these things. You got to be really careful about that, right? Because if you're always suggesting to go out on a date and they never suggest to go out on a date, I know you can't see me right now, but you can hear my voice. Red flag. You probably saw the red flag when I said that too. Because that's something wrong. If you're always suggesting dates and hanging out and having like late night activities like table games and watching movies with wine and just kind of romantic things, right? And they don't ever do it, yeah, that should be a red flag for you. So if your partner's not crazy in love with you like you are with them, it's time for a talk. Now, number 4, could you date a sugar daddy or a cougar? I could absolutely date a cougar. Now, a lot of Taiwanese know what a sugar daddy is, right? But a lot of Taiwanese don't know what a cougar is. A cougar is an older woman who dates younger men. Now, I've mentioned plenty of times I like to date older women because they're more mature. They have their own life. They have their own money. I have my own kids. I'm divorced. I'm not really looking to raise anyone and to take care of anyone. I just want to live a life of love. You do your thing. I do my thing. Now, when it comes to love, we can come together. So for me, if it was a cougar, I would have totally no problems with that because you have your own life. You are very mature. You know what you want. There's no second guessing. Teacher Ray is not a fan of cuteness I like girls who are like very strong and tough, kind of more athletic and sporty. You don't have to be an athlete. That's not what I'm saying. But, you have a very athletic demeanor, if I could say that in a very insinuating way. But anyway, could I date a cougar? Absolutely, yes. And I want you guys to leave your comments, right? Would you date an older woman or would you date an older man? Like, would you do that? So that is question number 4. And my answer is yes. And I mentioned maturity, have their own mindset, and they know what they want. Nothing to guess about. Now, number 5, which one is more important, power or money? Guys, I immediately am going to say power, because if you have power, you can get the money. Money does, everyone says like money doesn't make you happy. Guys, it does. It does. It not only does it make you happy, it solves a lot of problems. It's not going to make you love someone more or make someone love you more, but it does help put you in a comfort zone. In English, we call it a financial cushion, like a pillow. But not to get too far from the question, like money does have certain rewards when you have it. I'm broke, so everybody, I know a lot of people listen to this broke. I got 3 kids, my money not going anywhere. But I would definitely say power. I think power is more important because I believe in influence. I like the influential power. Let me be more specific. I like influential power, right? Because I think influential power means that people respect you. And I like to be respected. I don't need to be feared. I don't want to be feared. I don't want to make someone scared of me. That's weird, right? I mean, unless one of your kids did something like really stupid, then the fear must be necessary. But power is more important for me. Right. And I think like that's something that a lot of us need to be kind of looking at instead of, because a lot of us, I mean, guys, who doesn't want to be rich? I mean, I know some probably listeners say, I don't need to be rich. But then, they go out into the mall. They're like, man, I wish I was rich. Everybody changes their mind until they want to buy something. But for me, I would definitely have to say power. Now, number 6 is it possible to love a person forever? I think it is, guys. But it really depends on the relationship that you have with this person. If you guys are close, if you guys are like on the same page, I mean, it's not going to be the same fiery lava, steaming passion as it was in the beginning. But guys, the problem is like a lot of people get into these relationships and then they stop taking care of themselves, right? They become like, guys, if you have Instagram or Facebook, you've seen plenty of beautiful women who were like in their 50s. I mean, like still sexy and beautiful because they're taking care of themselves. And then you look at another woman who's 50, she looks like, in Chinese, they say like a dama, like a big, and I think in English we have one movie called Big Mama. They look like a big mama, right? When they don't have to, because they literally have given up. Maybe their mom at that age was like whatever, so they're like whatever. We don't need to continue the vicious cycle, right? You got to be able to take care of yourself, right? You got to be able to look good for first of all, guys, look good for yourself before you look good for your partner. Because if you're just looking good for your partner, it's a stress, right? It's a stress because you always like, oh man, I hit 92 kilograms. I got to get back down to 88, 89. I'm talking about my kilograms. I know some women are like, no, I don't want to be 95. I'm talking about my weight right now. I'm 91 right now. I feel like I'm in a great shape. I'm happy with myself. But a lot of people are not happy with themselves because they don't have this workout routine. And they're not really, frequently working out, and, they eat and drink all the time. I'm not really a drinker. So if you're like trying to invite me one day out to a drink, I'm not really like an alcoholic drinker. I will have a couple. I am a huge coffee fan, and I do like to talk to people under sober conditions, right? Yes, this is Asia, so everything is kind of based on like doing business and getting drunk or having drinks. If you want to do business with me, like we don't have to drink. I'm just letting you know. I think we could just literally find a nice cafe, have a talk, and we talk about all the things in business that you want to. So is it possible to love a person forever? Back to the question. Absolutely, yes. I think so. I think you need to be more cautious and conscious when selecting the person you want to be in love with. Now, you could be you could be possible to love a person forever, but that person might not be here forever, right? Because life happens. Life happens. Like things happen. People move on to the next life, but you can still love that person. But if they are here, yes, you can still love that person. Now, some people let go of themselves. People do change. So sometimes you have to take that extra effort the extra willingness to say, hey, like, what happened? Like, you used to do this, you used to do this. Now you're just kind of sitting around all day on TV, right? You're just, watching TV on the couch. You're looking at your phone all day. You don't want to go anywhere. You don't want to travel anywhere. You have no ambition at all, right? So sometimes people do change and lose that effort. And I know there's a lot. I know there's a lot of very rich people who are bored. Like, they have nothing else to do. I mean, they have all the money in the world. They just don't know what to do. They can travel the world 1,000 times, but that's what it is. And the last one, could you go to KTV with a coworker you don't like? Guys, I'm not singing my favorite songs to help me release with a coworker I don't like. And if that coworker walks in, I'm going to make the most amazing excuse to get out of there. That's what I'm telling you. I'm going to make an amazing excuse to leave, because I think for me, first of all, to go into a KTV and sing, that's a big monumental step. And then someone comes in that I don't like, I think it's time for me to go, because I barely go to KTV. So when I go, that means I like you. So could you go to KTV with a coworker you don't like? Teacher Ray says absolutely no. Now that is episode 5 of Wavemaker on Netflix. Leave those comments and reviews. That's what we want. We will be greatly, we will be greatly grateful. I know I messed that up, but anyway, you could laugh at that. We're greatly grateful. Copyrights. See you on the next episode. Thank you and take care.